So as we take a look at organizing our Google Drive for the new school year, let's take a look at a couple of things. First of all, let's make sure we have an easy time with understanding how our Google Drive works and what everything is. First thing I want to point out is there is a different view. So right now I'm in what we call icon view. That means that as I have different files, I can see them as a full icon. That's great if you don't have a lot of files in a folder or even in your whole drive. But if you'd rather a list view, you can just toggle the view icon. So you can just toggle between the icon view or the grid view and the list view. Okay. The next thing we want to take a look at is how to add folders to your Google Drive, because that's going to really help you get organized. So to do that, I'm going to go to New and then Folder. I'll name my folder. So let's say I'm getting ready for the new school year and I'll start a folder system based on my classes. So maybe I'll call it Language Arts. Okay. And now I have a new folder called Language Arts. You'll notice on my drive, I might also have other folders from programs such as, this example is Kami. Google Classroom does this as well, as some applications you use in connection with your Google Drive will actually create a folder on your Google Drive. So you don't really want to delete them, but there's lots of things you can do to help organize those folders as well. Okay, so I could go ahead and make a couple different folders for my classes. So as you can see, I went ahead and made a lot of different folders for some different classes that I have. Another folder that you want to do, especially if you've been using your Google Drive for several years now, is start to create an archive. So you can create a folder. You can actually call that archive, or if you want to keep it simple, call it your old work, or something that's from previous years that you know you don't need anymore. Okay, and then once you have your folders, now you can start to organize them. So one of the things you want to do to make them easy to find is we want to change the color. So to do that, you right click. If you're on a Chromebook, you can either alt click or two finger click. And then you're going to go ahead and change the color. And you can decide whatever color you want your folders to be. So another thing to organize my folders is notice that they will be sorted by name if I go ahead and do that. But if I don't necessarily want them sorted alphabetically, I can also prioritize my folders. So let's say I want to have my math folder at the top. I can go ahead and rename that, and I can put a 1 next to it. I like to put a little dash, but you definitely don't have to. And now when it's sorted alphabetically, it'll always be at the top. And then maybe I want my next folder to be my Language Arts folder. So then I'll go ahead and rename that and have that be a 2. And I can just keep doing that with all my folders so that they're in the order I want them. Another thing you may not have known you can do, and it'll help you not so much with sorting your folders, but to help you kind of get to them faster, like just by looking at them a little more easily, is you can actually add emojis to your folder names. So you can find an emoji that you like. So let's say for math, I want to use the little like chart emoji. So a little bar chart emoji. So I'll go ahead and put that in. And now, here we go. Now I have my emoji in my folder name. And so that'll just help me find it visually a little faster. Okay, so now that I have some folders, if I want to take some of the files that I have and I want to move them to a folder, all I have to do, and it's a little easier if you switch to grid view. So one of the things I can do is just in my grid view, just grab that piece, and you can see how it kind of connects to my mouse. And then I'm just going to drag that and dump it in the folder. And so now it's in the folder. Now, if another way I can do it, if that's a little hard, or sometimes if you're on the list view, it's easier to right click on that. And then you can go to move to, and then you'll get a menu. and then you can decide where that goes. Sorry, I had to get to that window. There we go. Okay, so now if I look in my language arts folder, my little story about the frog is there. And if I look in my STEM class folder, my experiment spreadsheet is there. Okay, so let's go back to the language arts folder really quick. And one of the things that you might have noticed is that this document is untitled. That's one of the things when you're organizing your Google Drive. Take some time to go through any documents that are untitled. A quick, easy way to do that is just to run a search for untitled, and then take a look at that. A lot of times untitled documents are things that we just made and then we never really use them. And so you'll find that a lot of times these untitled documents that you have really don't have anything on them, and you just want to get rid of them. So for example, this little one I just made. So if you want to get rid of a document, there's a couple ways to do it. So I click on it and I can just click the trash can. That'll remove it. Or I can right click on it. There we go. And go ahead and remove it. I'm going to move that to the trash. Now, if you find untitled documents you want to keep, then go ahead and do that renaming, just like we do with the folders, and name it. One of the best things you want to do, if you can, is name your files by the class you took or the name of the project, even if it's something simple like Frog Story for LA. Okay, now your teachers might give you instructions about specifically what to name files, because that helps them when you submit work. But if they don't, just always think of at least just describing what the project is. That's going to help you in the long run. So the next thing in our organizing of our online tools is we want to take a look at tabs and bookmarks. So let's take a look at our tabs first. So first of all, if you don't already know how to get a new tab, there's a couple different ways to do it. One of them is you can just click this little plus sign. That'll add a new tab. You can go ahead and go to File, New Tab, or you could do Control T. Then to close a tab, just go ahead and click that little X to close it. If you have a whole bunch that you want to close, an easy way to do that is move them. So if they're kind of in different places, you can move them around just by dragging them. But move them all to the right and then go to the furthest one that you want to keep. Right click on that. That's going to be with a 2-finger click on a Chromebook, or alt click on a Chromebook, or if you have a mouse, actually right click. And then you're going to go ahead and go down where it says close tabs to the right, and it'll close all those tabs. Okay, it's great to be able to switch back and forth between programs, but you don't want to have too many tabs open because that can really slow you down, especially if you're on a Chromebook. Let's take a look at working with bookmarks. First thing you'll notice is I have a bookmark bar. I don't have any bookmarks on my bookmark bar yet, except this little one that just comes with the bookmark bar. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more. Before I do that, let's just take a look. If you don't see this space underneath the location where you put website addresses or URLs, if you don't see that, that means your bookmark bar isn't showing. To fix that, just go right next to your little avatar. There's a 3-dot more menu. Go there, go to bookmarks, and then go ahead and turn on. You just do that by clicking it. So it toggles on and off. So there it's off. And then let me go ahead and turn that back on. There we go. So now I have my bookmark bar. So I want to go ahead and make a bookmark. There's a couple of different ways I can do that. Most of us know to go to bookmark, and then we go to bookmark this tab. Okay, and then we get this little thing that our bookmark is added. We can just click done. you could also do Control D, which will create a bookmark. Now, if I have a bookmark like the situation I'm in now, where I already have it, I don't need it, I would just hit remove. Another way to make a bookmark, let me do a different site, is if I go here and I could go ahead and drag by the little, looks like a little lock. So you can watch this again. I drag it by that little lock and I put it right in my bookmark bar. That's really fast. Now, whether you're doing it when you add a bookmark, so this is a good time to do this, or you can edit it later, you might want to change the names of your bookmarks. So let's check that out. So I have this bookmark name. It's super, super long. It's really the only thing I need on here is I just need it to say Tinker, because that's the name of the website that I'm using. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit it right here and delete all of that. So now and I hit done, that's going to change my bookmark. So see, it's much shorter. Going to be a lot easier for me to find my bookmarks. Plus, it frees up a lot of space so I can really fill up my bookmarks bar. Now, if I already have the bookmark like I have over here and it's really long, I can still edit it. I just need to put my mouse on it, right click, and then go to edit. And from here, I can go ahead and just get the part that I want, just like I did on the other window, and hit save. And now it's edited. Now, if you have some things that you're really comfortable with, you know what it is. For example, this is my Google Drive. I'm going to go ahead and make a bookmark to that. Now, to save space, what I might want to do is not even have any words at all. So what I can do is go ahead and edit that. And when I edit it, instead of keeping the words, I'm just going to delete all the words, just type one space and hit save. And now it just has that icon. So that's a great idea to do with things like Schoology. Oops, went too far. There we go. With Schoology or Google Drive or things where you know the icons really well, and then you can just stack them all together and they look really short, and it just helps you save space on your bookmarks bar. Okay? So another thing you can do when you want to work with your bookmarks is you might want to create a folder and organize your bookmarks that way. So for example, what I can do to make my folder is I can just go to an empty space on my bookmark bar, right click, and go add folder. So now I have a folder. I'm going to go ahead and call that coding. Okay, so now I have a folder with coding. And then what I can do is take this bookmark, for example, this Tinker, and I can click it and drag it and move it into that folder. So now it's not here anymore, but if I click on my coding folder, it's in there. So let me move my CS First bookmark in there as well. So now that helps me get organized. A great idea would be to organize your bookmarks by your classes. So let's say I can go ahead and add a folder, and I can maybe make a math folder, and then all the websites that I use for math all the time, I can drag and put in that folder. So that helps me organize, and the big thing about it is to be able to save space. And the reason you want to conserve space on your bookmark bar is it can get really, really cumbersome if you end up having lots and lots of bookmarks, and then you have the arrows at the end of the bookmark bar that you have to get to. Now, everything we just did with bookmarks that we were just kind of dragging and dropping, if it's easier for you, you can always go back here where we were in the bookmark section, and you can go to what's called Bookmark Manager. And especially when you start to have a lot of bookmarks, you can do the same things we were doing where you can edit them or you can move them around. And even like here, let's say I wanted my math before my coding, I can go ahead and grab it and drag it and put it inside the coding one, whatever I wanted to do. Okay, so that's organizing through the bookmark bar. And then let's take a look at one more thing with bookmarks, which is going to be really important, and that is how you delete a bookmark. So let's say I have a bookmark. I keep dragging the wrong thing by accident, sorry. Okay, so let's say I have this bookmark and I decide I don't need it, or maybe I have two and I only need one of them. So what I want to do is just go ahead and go into that bookmark and right click on that and hit delete. And now I don't have that bookmark anymore. So another thing you want to do as you're organizing for this school year is go and look at your bookmark bar. And are there bookmarks from last year's classes that you know you don't need anymore, and clean that up. So it's just the things that you're using right now. The last thing that we're going to take a look at actually isn't with bookmarks, but we're going to come back to looking at our Waffle. So we call that a Waffle, but it's also the Google App Launcher. And what you may not have known is that you can use that not only to get to your applications, but to organize it so that the applications you use the most often are at the top. So for example, if I want to be able to get to Google Drive first, I'm going to go ahead and drag that over and put that first. And then maybe the second one I want to get to is YouTube. So I'm just going to grab that over. And then I use my mail account a lot. And then I can just reorganize these in any order I want and personalize it so I can get to the things I use most often quicker because they're at the top.